The following message is from the Global Dokkan Christmas Carol crew. Enjoy.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. For France, our friends across the sea, got top grossing today. To free us all from Bandai's greed, for stones are free to play. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Young Swengo, your commentator for today. And today, guys, I want to talk to you about 2020. I hope you all had a very happy New Year's. What you're seeing right now is me grinding out the LR Cell event that just launched on Global. Apologies for not getting this video out on New Year's Eve, but it didn't launch till that night, and I was at a New Year's Eve party, so what can I do? 2020 is going to be a big year for Dokkan, at least that's what I think. It is the turn of the decade, we're finally entering a new era, and it is the 5-year anniversary of Dokkan as a game, both on JP and on Global. So, what could we see from this year? Well, no one really knows. Dokkan's always done this thing where you think you know what's going to go, you think you know what's going to happen, and then suddenly it changes. But here are some of the things that I would like to see Dokkan do for 2020. The first one I have here is actually a pretty big one that I think would come with a lot of controversy, but I think a lot of people would be excited to see it. I would like to see an EZA for the Prime Battle LRs, or at least some of them, or the World Tournament LRs. Now, this is going to shock a lot of people because I'm sure that there are some people who still don't think that EZAing an LR would be something that the game would do, but it's been a while since we got introduced to the first LRs, and the meta has changed dramatically. If you look into the passive of these LRs, they're still using base addition, so they're not using percentages, they're using like plus 3,000 attack. And that's just not a usable unit in Dokkan anymore for the most part. To run any of these LRs, you need them on a specific team that can support them and boost their stats, and I just feel like that these units were created with the intention in mind to be something for new players to be able to kickstart their account with, and it just isn't possible. In 2019, we saw a lot of leaps and bounds for free-to-play players on Dokkan. The Gogeta event specifically that I want to talk about, the movie, Super Broly, that stuff, we got an EZA for 2 of the units, and almost all of the free-to-play units from that are really good and can be used on a lot of teams. On top of that, we got the Exchange units this year. I literally use Tech Goku all the time. What I'm saying is free-to-play became extremely valuable in 2019, and is actually a team that you could use and get through the majority of the game now. Now, this proposed system for EZA probably wouldn't be an actual increase in level up to level 170, although I would love that personally because it would kind of fit into the fact that right now we're getting leads that are 170% leads, so having a level 170 would be cool. But instead, maybe just changing the leader skill, the passive skill, and just a proposal, maybe giving some of these units active skills. I think that would be really interesting. I honestly think that the first one that we're ever going to get, if LRs do end up getting EZAs, would be LR Tech Goku, because after all, he is the first one. But I think you could give him an active skill that is that instant transmission Kamehameha that we were waiting for in the 300 million download celebration. A lot of players wanted to see an LR Goku with this, and we didn't end up getting him. Maybe this would be the time. Hopefully in 2020, this kind of stuff can happen. And as for leader skills, I think giving them category leads or type leads with a 120% key plus 3 would introduce them into the modern era and not make them overpowered, but definitely make them viable for free-to-play players to kickstart their game. Next on my list for things in 2020 for Dokkan, I want to see a Saiyan Saga Dokkan Fest. Dokkan Fest Kaioken Goku and Dokkan Fest Grade 8 Vegeta. I think this would be perfect. I feel like we don't get enough representation of the Saiyan Saga. It doesn't have its own category, unlike other sagas in the series. And as for the thing that kind of started the series on its sci-fi roots, I think it deserves more credit than what it's been given. On top of this, we have an old event for the Saiyan Saga. I think it's Invasion of the Saiyans. It's super old. You get like SRs that can Dokkan Awaken into SSRs. We could see that be redone for this new sort of Saiyan Saga celebration and really get some interesting units. Some EZAs on those old Grade 8 cards would be fantastic. Just have them all in one EZA so you don't have to separate them each for 30 stones. Just one 30 level EZA would be perfectly fine by me. I think you could also get some more interesting Kid Gohan cards. Some Piccolo cards would be interesting. One with an active skill or a super that is the special beam cannon against Raditz. That would be fun. Imagine a free-to-play Cyberman unit that attaches to the user and then just explodes. Like, Cyberman becomes an actual usable unit. You know, for Super not announcing its return for a second go-around, I think we're going to start seeing some recycled content, and I feel like putting a new fresh paint over this old Saiyan Saga stuff would be fantastic. So the third thing that I want to see in Dokkan in 2020 would be, and this is something I think we're actually going to be getting, is a Friend Summon LR. Another one. I just want another one. And I feel like you could tie this back into the Saiyan Saga thing I was talking about. I thought an LR Saiyans, like when Nappa comes to Earth, would be dope. But even if you don't do that, just give me something. I really like these Friend Summon LRs. They help the grind of the game. They give you something to do, something to summon for, even when you don't have stones. But as a player, I've gotten them all. I have nothing else to do. So getting a new one would be interesting. We saw on Global that weird campaign where you could get Elder Kais for doing the Friend Summons. Definitely thought one was coming. Turns out it hasn't yet. So maybe in 2020, we'll be seeing it. I could definitely see it for the 5-year anniversary, something dropping. Number 4 on my list for things to see in 2020 in Dokkan would be a Dragon Ball Super Heroes Dokkan Fest exclusive. That's right. Give me something crazy. I want Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. I want Kaioken Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I want some crazy Broly stuff, Golden Metal Cooler, that kind of stuff. I want to see the depths of DeviantArt be put to shame by the craziness that is this series put into a Dokkan Fest. Maybe Super Saiyan God Trunks, because that's something that we saw and everyone's hyped for it. In reality, I do think this is something that we could be seeing on the horizon for 2020 as Dragon Ball Super Heroes gets a new season, and as the new game comes out, I think it's very likely that we'll be seeing some promotional material within Dokkan for that new media. Go stupid. No one cares. It's Dragon Ball. Little thing that I forgot to add to this real quick. Make sure to keep the whole guaranteed featured on this, because I feel like that's the whole theming thing behind Dragon Ball Heroes that makes those banners so awesome, is the fact that you're getting a guaranteed featured unit. And I think that would incentivize more players to go for the rainbow of those units, because you actually have a better chance of pulling them than usual. I know I went way deeper into the Dragon Ball Heroes stuff than I thought I would because of the guaranteed featured. And the 5th thing that I want for Dokkan in 2020 to do would be revise the friend system. Now, I'm going to keep this brief because everyone and their mother has given this suggestion. It's just something I want to throw in there because it is true that I want this. Just give us the ability to run our own leader as our friend leader. I don't see any reason not to do that. It gets annoying trying to run unique teams, which is the whole point of Dokkan. The whole point of these cool units is to be able to run these teams with characters that you don't normally see in games or aren't represented in that same way. And to not be able to use them because it's just not the meta, it's a little sad. So yeah, just create a system where my leader can be duplicated as my friend leader, and I would be perfectly fine with that. Also allow us to get more friends. I don't know why we're capped at 100 right now. It doesn't make much sense. The 6th thing that I want to see Dokkan do in 2020 is give us some premium exchange units. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, we got exchange units during the 300 million download celebration, the free-to-play ones, and then LR androids, and then the system just sort of disappeared off the face of the planet. I haven't seen it anywhere in Dokkan, and remind me if I'm wrong, it just seems like they introduced this new mechanic, and then they've done nothing with it for the rest of time. So I think 2020, we need to see some interesting exchange concepts.
Slight suggestion, maybe a Vegeta and Nappa one for the one celebration I was talking about, where Nappa gets killed by Vegeta. That's the exchange, is the animation of Vegeta throwing Nappa into the air and then killing him. Just a concept.
And the 7th and final thing, get it? It's theming, because like the Dragon Ball. Anyways, the final thing that I want to see Dokkan do in 2020 is the merge of the Japanese and global version of the game. Plenty of YouTubers have talked about it. I'm going to talk about it too. It is really awesome to see what they do for each side of this game. Global exclusives coming first, Japan getting a lot of the first units, global getting different types of banners, the changes. All that's interesting, but man, does it suck sometimes being a global player, watching Japan get something really cool and being like, awesome, I can't wait to get that in 5 or 7 months. I just feel like it would be way more hype if everyone who played the game was getting the same events, the same banners, the same EZAs at the same time. We were all getting notified. Could you imagine how people would explode when they're like, oh my goodness, this new EZA was just announced, and everyone's getting ready in their accounts, instead of global players just being like, cool, I have that unit, I'll just wait. I think you could do the anniversary thing that people like Truth have been talking about, where you sort of celebrate both anniversaries in the year. Of course, that would mean the anniversaries themselves get smaller because they're being divided amongst 2 parts. But I think you could do that. I think it's worth it, man. Just the community aspect of it all. There wouldn't be such division between Global and JP. There wouldn't ever be a Global or JP Shaft argument ever again. It would just be a very fun thing for Dokkan to do in 2020. And maybe after year 5 years of being split apart, we will finally, as a community, come together in the game, Global and JP. But what do I know? Namco Bandai might have completely different plans. We might never see an LREZA or Global and JP come together. They might have something completely different for us. Doesn't matter, really. This was a fun video to make, and it's a sort of a wish list. So you know what I'll do? In about a year, I'm going to come back to this channel, wherever it is, and I'm going to talk about what Dokkan did in the end of the 365-day period and see how many of the actions taken by Dokkan matches my resolutions. Either way, guys, that's going to finish this video. If you have any resolutions, if you have any comments on my resolutions, comment down below. Tell me what you want to see from Dokkan in 2020. As always, subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the video. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace!